VIPs here. So, and the numbers keep staying up there too. We're getting good numbers of people. So Ken, I don't think we're ever going to be able to stop these, whether we do face-to-face meetings or not. We're going to keep doing these. And I'll tell you, we were talking about, Zoom and learning the sort of the Zoom procedures and stuff like this. My 2.5-year-old granddaughter knows how to Zoom. She's jumps right on the computer and does it too. And I personally look forward to this meeting and all the other ones that we do. It's such a great way for us all to stay connected and informed and to find ways to work together through this. So thank you, Ken, for doing this. Thanks everybody for joining. I see a couple of board members on here. I see Bonnie Scatterday from Woodman's and Susan Coviello, our vice president. So thank you guys for joining. And Ken, back to you.
Thanks, Tony. Thank you all. So a couple of things. We are recording this, so just be aware of that as you are sharing what's going on with yourself and your organization. This may end up in other places or not. Also, if you haven't done so already, please feel free to tell us who you are in the chat, name and organization. It's great to hear from you all that way. Quick update on my team. We have Vince Minetti, who is our new design and promotions specialist here with us. We have Olivia Perez-Odess. She is our member services director. Peter Weber, senior vice president. And I don't see Karen on here. Let me know if she is. But Karen Caroni is our office administrator, who's been tremendously helpful as well. So with that out of the way, we are firmly into the first week of phase 2, and that'll be a big topic of conversation this morning. We try to do these in about an hour, but we're not going anywhere. So for anybody who would like to stay on longer, we can continue the conversation. With that, why don't I offer you a chance to say a few words, Mayor, if you want to give us an update from your perspective.
Okay. First of all, I'm glad that you're doing these Zooms because he was right. We all can participate, even if we have 2 or 3 different Zooms, because some of them are webinars. So then we'll get the information sent after. If we click on, we'll listen to some of the information and we'll get your recordings so we can keep ourselves updated. It's very crucial. I know that one day we all would like to have lunch and spend time together, but maybe quarterly the chamber can do these to let your legislatives and city leaders understand what's going on in the community. It's very confusing on the different phases because at first we say these phases, that phases, and then it comes up with this one. We're going like, what's happening? And then in phase 2, how do you explain it to it? And you know what? I know that sometimes my Board of Health might have to come by to one of your businesses. We're not policing. We're not, and Karen will explain that to you. We go when we get a concern from citizens, more than one. So, and we know that people are targeted, and we understand, but we just want to go to let you know when we check, and that's it. Just like the beaches and everything else that's happening. So we on mass.gov is the most informational thing. Anyone can have access. But Senator Tarr's office has been so great responding and sending you actually when some people say, I just can't find it, they'll send you everything you need. So reach out to them. Even if, people say, well, they're not there. They respond no matter what, 24/7. They really do. They've been really great. He's been on a lot of the Zooms. Ken, you look so refreshing today because I think after the 10th Zoom yesterday, we were like, okay, who is this? And that's what I want people to know about the chamber. You have great representation no matter where you are. One of you are on something, but Ken's been on a lot. I just wanted to let them know, Ken, that I really appreciate that. You're working closely with our economic development team. You're working closely with Discover Gloucester, and that's what it's about. And you know what? We've been promoting everything, and you know that, because Mechelle Brown from Brockport and everything else, and Peter, we're all in this together. Like we said, it's a different ship, but it's the same storm. So I wanted to thank you for that. And I also wanted to say, I think that we didn't do a good job, not my economic development team. I think in general, the newspaper and all of us, because we have 89 people who applied for the CBD grants and up to $10,000. And we just, last night, we went over about 15 applicants that had all their paperwork, and it was 100%, and it's all ready to go. And I asked how many more, and I've talked to some people. They thought because they were already getting maybe some kind of an assistance from the SBA or something else, they weren't allowed to apply. totally not true. Totally not true. So hopefully we'll explain better, because I don't think people understood, and then a lot said, well, I want you to give it to someone who really needed it more. And then I went up to them, I said, well, couldn't you use it for this, this, and this? Yeah, then who needs it more? I think that, you know what it is? It's the first time that we've all been shut down. It's the first time you're hearing people have no food. It's the first time, and we've heard no food, but not this amount of people. And all of this access, I think that, you know what, it humbled some of us, and some of us said, you know what, let's help our neighbor. And that's great. But the fact is, I have to help Gloucester businesses, and I choose to do that with my staff. And it was their decision that we need to do this. And we really want to make sure that people succeed. And it's, for some, it's 10,000 is nothing. For a lot, it makes that whole decision whether to stay open or not. And so we're going to do a round 2, and, you know, July 1st is around the corner, where my staff said to me already, Mayor, do you think that we'll do this again, but do some combination with the other money if we can, and actually reach out more. So please keep informed, and just, you know what, you've got nothing to lose to apply. Someone will talk to you via computer and they will say to you, yes, you qualify. No, you don't. This is the criteria. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. And it's really important that you do, because I'm seeing people struggling, and it's not about what you personally have in your income, or it's about keeping your existence as a business. It's about your business continuing hiring people and keeping your staff. Remember, it's a ripple effect. It affects us all, and we don't realize how it affects. Because if your staff's not working, that means that daycare service they had is not working. That means so it goes on. So please reach out to us, because we're there. And, you know, Sal DeStefano's been all over these. Jill, you know, Karen's on here. She'll explain anything you need to know on the Board of Health issues. And Karen has just been amazing. And I think Jill was going to kill me, Karen, because you mentioned we meet weekly. Her and I used to meet daily. Now it's weekly, and then we meet with everyone else weekly to let us know what's going on. But she was talking about a new phase that she wants to go through, and I think she'll explain that to you. And I said it during city council, and Jill just left the Zoom. She goes, I don't believe she's going to mention this. But that's how far advanced that we are. See, when the governor decided he was going to do all these screenings, or whatever you want to call them, Karen and her staff were already doing it. They were already calling people. They were already doing that. We were already on top of that from day one. And now she found something else, and she's on top of that. So we have your backs that way, but we want to also help you financially if we can. And we want to make sure that your staff's being helped too. So with that, have a nice weekend, everyone. Please keep these Zooms going. You think that we're not getting information, we are. Even if we do meet in person, and I can't wait for that day. Because I just can't wait to hug you all. And we can't right now. So when we can, you're all getting a huge, big hug from me. And but still keep these quarterly Zoom meetings, because that's the only way really that we all can get involved, because there's so much in our lives that it's difficult to go one place. And it's not just traveling to, let's say, Bruce traveling from, you know, Essex Ave. Don't forget he's in Boston and in Ann Margaret. Then they have to come back or send staff. This way, we all can participate. So thank you. Have a nice day. And I'm signing off, everyone.
Mayor, thank you very much. Thank you for all that you're doing in leading us through this very challenging time, and it's a pleasure to spend.
Yeah, I'm not leaving. I'm just leaving the mic. I'm still gonna listen to you, but I'm leaving the mic.
All right, we have to watch our words. Thank you so much. Let's see. Let's hear from Karen, if you want to share an update from public health, if you wouldn't mind, please.
Sure. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me. As you know, we started phase 2, stage 1 of phase 2. The governor's office is actually going to break this phase down into 2 stages at least. And there'll probably be like mini phases in their stages too, as they add things and change things. But I think most of you know outdoor seating, outdoor eating, dining was allowed to start on Monday. We've seen several businesses on Cape Ann opening up for outdoor dining, which is great to see. And a few other businesses. So retail now at 40% occupancy of their building, or 8 per 1,000 square feet. And a couple of others. So, you know, that seems to be going along pretty smoothly. And we also have seen some of the indicators. The governor's office has 6 main indicators, and he has green, yellow, red lights. And we've had no red lights for a while, but this week we had one. We have now 3 green lights, so that's a good thing too. 3 of our health indicators are in the green, which means go, things are looking good, and 3 are still yellow, moving in the right direction. So our indicators from a public health point of view are good. I can tell you that, you know, we are still seeing cases in our community, not a lot, but we have 40 to 50 active cases running at the moment, and we've been at that level for a while. And, you know, the cases, we are seeing some in workplaces. So that is definitely where we anticipate, as people go back to work and go back to restaurants and dining and shopping and interacting more, we will expect to see the cases go up a bit. So the health department, our public health nurse, Kelly Highland, is working with our inspectional team and the building inspectional team to be able to go out and offer a team of people who will come to your business if you do have a case or a cluster. So that will allow, say, the food inspector or the building inspector, the housing inspector, to come in to the business with their knowledge, as well as a public health nurse with their knowledge of infection disease control, and really provide you with really quick, good support so that you can isolate whatever the cluster is or the case is. You can identify any contacts and quickly mitigate the situation and keep your business open. So that's the name of the game. The faster we can act, the better. So we're looking at putting that team in place. And I think the other thing you may have all seen, and if you haven't, we'll make sure it gets out to you, is the video or the training webinar that our reopening task force put together under Sal. He found a wonderful HR specialist in the area who worked with our nursing team and produced a video that I think will be really helpful for businesses. It goes over so many of the issues, some of which I had no idea you were dealing with because they're not public health, but it really made me appreciate all the aspects of this, from HR issues, if people can't come back to work, don't want to come back to work, liability issues, all those things that you guys are dealing with. So I'm really grateful for the work of the reopening committee. Some of you are members, and the training webinar that's available. So if you haven't seen it or you need to, Ken, Elizabeth, Sal can get that to you as well. We hope that's a helpful tool for you and your staff. And you know, I think I don't think there's a whole lot more that I need to say at this point, unless there's specific questions. We've had some great calls and people working through those checklists and trying to figure it out. The only kind of big announcement from DPH that I did hear this week that might pertain to those of you in tourism is a change that's pending on the quarantine rule. So as you know, as of right now, if you leave the state and come back into the state of Massachusetts, you are required to quarantine for 14 days in your home or a single location with minimal contact with outside community. DPH informed us yesterday that that's likely to change, and by Monday they'll have an official announcement for us saying that it will change from a requirement to a recommendation. So it makes it a little bit easier for you guys if you're running a hotel, that you can say it's recommended that you stay kind of to yourself for 14 days if you've come from out of state. But it changes that wording a little bit. So hopefully, all these gradual changes that the governor is loosening up on will be done carefully and slowly so that we don't see a resurgence, but we have no idea. And as I'm sure you've all watched on the news, some of our other states are starting to see some numbers climb. And to a certain extent that will be expected with some of the larger gatherings, rallies, outdoor activity, beaches, as well as returning to work and business. Like I've said, we have the summer on our side right now. The fact that we're outside, there's very little transmission that happens outside. So that is a good thing. but we need to, be ready for the fall as well as people go back inside and maybe the virus, we have more of the virus floating around. So any other questions or anything you need me to touch on, Ken? For now, we're here if you need anything.
That's a great update. Thanks so much, Karen, and thanks for all you're doing. Let's hold the questions to the end if you're able to stay on, and if not, we certainly know where to reach you.
Yeah, I do need to run, but Sal's here, and just let us know if there's anything you need. Thank you, everybody, and stay well.
Thank you, Karen. A couple of things on that HR webinar. It is on our COVID page. If anybody would like easy access to it, I'm pretty sure it's on the city's website, and I know it's in other places. So it's a good 40-minute overview, as Karen said, and we are planning on doing a live webinar to include Q&A next week. There's a candidate date out there right now, but I don't know if it's locked in. And why don't I turn it over to you, Sal, and maybe you can.
Yeah, definitely. I just shared that link on the chat. So if people want to look at it, there's a link and a password. And I think Lori Labrie, who's a chamber member, who Ken introduced me to, who's been working really hard, coming up with things to help businesses, because there's questions that need to be answered around what happens if you're notified that there was a potential exposure. What does your business do? There's been a lot of focus on reopening, but not that much thought in terms of what happens after the fact. So Lori's been, and her team have been working really hard. They put together this video Tuesday at 7:30 a.m. We are going to have a live Q&A session with Lori and I believe Kelly Hilland from our public health. And it's going to be a partnership with the city and the chamber to put that on, which I have to say, the mayor always talks about collaboration be very important. We can't do this by ourselves. And Ken and I are on the phone, and Peter, I mean, definitely almost daily, multiple times a day sometimes. And thank you for your leadership, Ken and Peter and Tony and members of this board, and Elizabeth from Discover Gloucester. It's a team effort. The mayor talks about it all the time, but we can't do it by ourselves. And also, I know she touched on a lot of this, but we are working really hard to support businesses, and sometimes it's one-on-one questions or, our grant program that we've released, and just, we really enjoy the partnership and the resiliency. I know there's other communities on here. I don't want to take up all of the time, but we are looking into, there's a new workplace safety grant program that was just announced. So my wife, Maria DiStefano, is regional director for the Mass Office of Business Development, is going to be holding webinars, and I'm looking forward to doing something soon. These are grants for businesses who have employees that handle equipment, that there's trainings and grants to support special training that you need to do anyways, but that could be covered with this grant up to $25,000. This was just released, so look forward to that. I love the work with the chamber on that and the EDIC as well. So we're really excited about that. We just approved a TIF that still needs to be certified by the state's EACC next week, but a new exciting company called Cometeer Incorporated. They're a coffee manufacturer. They call themselves a tech company in a coffee space. They'll be going into the old Gloucester Seafood Processing Building, $24 million investment, 150 jobs, really exciting. They don't want to do a big news splash at the moment, but it's something that, we've been working very hard on under the leadership of the mayor since February. So that's really good news. So the city council just passed a local TIF for them to help them invest in job growth at this time. I know all of you business owners feel the same way. It's something that's very much needed right now. So I thank you for that. I'm here for questions. I know the mayor covered a lot of ground, but thank you for your partnership, and we'll get through this. We're seeing, you know, better news each day. So let's just keep moving it forward. And I thank you.
Sal, thank you. Thank you for all your work. And it truly is a pleasure working with you and the entire city team. And it's fantastic news to hear that we've got another business coming into Gloucester. And also there's a business moving up a second floor at the GMGI building.
That's right. LifeMine. Yep.
Yep. So that's terrific news. And the whole notion of a biotech cluster in Gloucester is on the move. So that's really exciting, especially in this very challenging time. I see Greg, you're on the line here, and I haven't seen you in a little while. I wonder if you want to do a brief update on what's going on in Manchester.
Sure, thanks, Ken. Yeah, I apologize. It has been conflicting with other
No worries at all.
meetings, et cetera. There's no end to these. But anyways, they're good to participate in, and I'm happy to be able to join you this morning. So in Manchester, we have approved a process for outdoor dining. Have a number of our restaurants putting in their applications, and we're working with them to get that rolling, and hope to see that functional in the next few days. So that's good to see. We've also altered some of our parking. We have our Masconomo Park, and we're allowing non-residents to park there on a 3-hour limit, and as a way to provide some additional parking, because we will be taking away a few parking spots with some of this outdoor dining. So hopefully that'll all work well and get people where they need to be. Non-business related, but more town focus, we've got a town meeting coming up. We're meeting on June 22nd for our annual town meeting. We're going to be under the stars. We'll be on the football field at the high school. And if the weather doesn't cooperate on the 22nd, we've got the 24th as our rain date. So we're hoping that the weather will cooperate, and we'll be able to get our budgets approved and be on our way for another fiscal year. A lot of unknowns, obviously, with state and some of the state aid and what's happening there, but we're hoping for the best and what will take place there. And then we have our annual elections then also a week later on June 30th. People have the option of voting by mail. You just request your ballots to the town clerk's office, and you can vote by mail, or if you want to vote the day of, we'll be set up at the high school for that. So I think those are the main highlights. We are working on some new zoning prospects, the regulations for our limited commercial district that should free up and provide some more flexibility as we look at some economic development on the far upper end of School Street, just off of exit 15 there for us. And looking forward to getting the beach more functional. It will loosen up starting today, actually. So we'll have more visitors on the beach, and the harbor is getting more active. Again, another slow start given what's all been happening, but have more boats going in and more activity there. So it does feel like things are slowly opening, which is good, and hopefully we'll keep the infection rates down, and we can continue with that good progress.
Thank you, Greg. Thanks for that update. I was going to ask about Singing Beach in particular. So what are the regs currently for visitors as they call us, asking if they can come on the beach or not?
Yeah, so right now visitors are not allowed on the beach, resident only for Singing Beach. So we continue to monitor that carefully, and we hope to be able to change that in the coming weeks, but we'll just have to wait and see how things progress.
Okay, thank you. Thanks very much. How about Rockport? Mechelle, I see you're on the line. If you'd like to give us a little update there, or Peter, either one of you guys.
Thank you, Ken. I only have 2 minutes before my next Zoom. So, you know, there's a lot happening. The beaches are open. The neck is open. Main Street's open. We had a meeting yesterday regarding finding some solutions for some outdoor dining for some of our restaurants. So yeah, there's a lot. I'm not sure which to touch on. So a lot of great things, a lot of people working hard, proud of everyone.
What about, the beach, are they open for visitors?
They are open for visitors, yes, but there is Long Beach parking, as always, will remain resident parking only. And currently people cannot purchase non-resident tickets or non-resident stickers. Peter could probably explain more about that one than I can.
Thank you, Mechelle.
Yeah, you've got it, Mechelle. It's the main lot for access to Cape Edge Beach and Long Beach from the Rockport end is sticker parking only. And as Mechelle said, the selectmen, while opening up the beaches for walk-on, and Front Beach is only a walk-on beach, there's no parking lot associated with it, is now open to the general public. All the beaches are. But in terms of close access in a parking lot, that's still resident only sticker parking. And the selectmen are meeting once a week with the Board of Health on Tuesdays. They added a little bit of parking for non-resident, or restored some parking for non-resident parking on T Wharf in downtown at their meeting last Tuesday. And parking meters officially go into effect with new pay stations are being implemented, which are pay by plate, a new system, and that goes into effect on Monday, June 15th in all the existing parking spots. So that the instructions, the chief gave us some instructions which we've posted and shared as widely as we can. They'll be posted online. They're pretty straightforward and self-explanatory and should make it a little bit simpler. One thing you don't have to do when you use these stations is you don't have to put the receipt back in your dashboard of your car, which is a little different from Gloucester's system. But that's the latest news in Rockport.
Thank you, Peter. Speaking of parking and monitoring the meters, remind me, Sal, is that happening in Gloucester as well, starting Monday?
Hi, Ken. I'm going to double check on that. There was a discussion about it, but I'll get an answer shortly.
All right, thanks for that. Let's see, and just a brief update in my hometown by the marsh, Essex. The Board of Selectmen last night approved by unanimous vote an extension of premises for the restaurants for outdoor dining. And there's a process by which the restaurants need to go ahead and get applications in for that due today. And I know there are a lot of restaurants online and looking forward to being able to utilize that to allow for additional seating. We have one contested seat, the Board of Selectmen seat, and there was a debate that I think was run yesterday morning. Maybe you know, Susan, it's going to be videotaped and we're going to send a link out shortly on that. And that's coming up for vote later this month. And then the other thing is, I think our town meeting is this Saturday. Is it not at the middle school? Do you know, Susan, or the elementary school?
Yeah, so a couple of things. The debate was filmed this morning, and then they're going to do some editing and it'll get out. So I'm not quite sure when that'll get out. And our town meeting is this coming Saturday at the elementary school, outside at the elementary school. So hopefully we'll have a sunny day. And the third thing is that, for most of you may know, that Brennan Zabricki, our town administrator, had stage 4 colon cancer. And he sent out an email a couple of days ago that he is cancer-free. He's really thrilled. It looks really, really, really good for him. He's going to be on chemotherapy, I think, through or until August. But he's got a really, really great bill of health. So everybody in Essex is really happy about that.
That's terrific news. Thank you for sharing. And of course, the public safety building continues here in town. If you haven't been on John Wise recently, it's really started to look quite big. So it'll be nice to have that facility in place. So I think that's it from our municipal leaders, unless anybody has anything else to share from that perspective? Okay, let's open it up to our businesses. Who would like to give us an update as to what's going on? Raffi, are you actually gonna be able to say something this week?
Can you guys hear me at all?
Really scratchy. It's scratchy. No, still, I'm not hearing this. Yeah, Raffi, I'm gonna go ahead and mute you. I'm sorry, I'm just having trouble hearing this. And we gotta figure out another way to get clean audio from you, but I think I heard you say you're coming back up north soon, which is good. We wanna see you in Gloucester Harbor.
I think he might have said something about hurricane season too. So
Okay.
if I deciphered that.
All right, I apologize, but we're gonna get you on these things one of these days. Thank you for trying again.
I can give a little update on Defiance Sale Charters. So
Yeah.
they are going to be opening and fully operational on the 20th of this month.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing and relaying that, Olivia. And we look forward to seeing you and Lisa, Raffi. Good to get you back here. Okay. Who else?
Ken, I've got a quick update and a question to pose to the group. So we're opening tomorrow. We've been working all week to get everything in shape and all. So we have our first guest coming in tomorrow and more guests coming in next week, and things are starting to hum. So we're really encouraged by that at the Blue Shutters. The question I had, and I just want to toss it out if anybody has any thoughts on this, we're not going to be doing breakfast, obviously. We have a continental breakfast set up, but that's kind of off the table. We have a couple of apartments that do their own breakfast and coffee and such. But one idea we had was to see if there were any restaurants in town, in our neighborhood would be great, who would have coupons that we could give to guests. So, in lieu of breakfast, here's a coupon to, this place for coffee and stuff like that. So I'll toss it out there. If anybody knows of anybody who might be interested in that, I'd love to, talk to them about that. But we're excited, and our guests are really excited to be coming back as well. So thanks. And great news on the quarantine. That was a issue of concern for us because we had a lot of people who are interested in coming, and they're just, we had this kind of warn them about the quarantine, and it pretty much put them off the table. So this makes it a lot easier. These are people we trust, and I think making this more of less of a requirement and more of a recommendation is good news for us and other accommodations too.
Often, yep, especially with our accommodations, but other businesses as well. That is good news. I will say, I know Rockport Inn and Suites, Matt Anzavino, who's on our board, is opening Friday. And Beauport, I was over there yesterday. That place, the parking lot was full. So they're definitely, they're up and running. Look like they're doing pretty well right now, which is an encouraging sight. We all want to get back out on that deck. Who else? Elizabeth, yeah, go ahead.
Good morning, Ken and all. Thank you so much. Delightful to be here. I just wanted to share the good energy that's out there right now. I've been going around doing a social media campaign, which is celebrating the reopening of businesses in Gloucester and Cape Ann. I was at the Blue Collar with Lenny on Monday night, phase 2, first day, day 1. And at 5 o'clock that day, there was not a table to be had. Everyone was out celebrating, eating and sharing. Clearly all, following the rules of 6-foot distancing. We then visited the Beauport Hotel, where they have several overnight stays already on the books. The Vista is celebrating her guests. Harborview Inn has several guests this weekend. So the news is good. There's a lot of, my job, of course, is to primarily speak to the visitor and engage travel and tourism to Gloucester, and we're hearing a lot of great news. People are eager to get out. They're tired of being cooped up. You can see the energy. You can see people are coming and enjoying and spending time in Gloucester. So I just wanted to share that you know, just in phase 2, week 1, it's already showing some great success. And thanks to all of you for helping make that happen. If I haven't come to visit you, please let me know. I have a fabulous sign that we post, and we're doing videos with the mayor. And so we're getting the word out that this is the place to come. So let me know if I can help in any way.
That's awesome, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. And thank you for all that you do. You've really been incredible during this pandemic. It's interesting to see that you know, there are very few businesses that we've seen that have decided not to reopen. You know, one of course that most people know is Halibut Point Restaurant. They'll be sorely missed. And those businesses that are deciding not to reopen, generally we're kind of thinking that they may not be going much longer anyway. And so this basically becomes the reason not to reopen this year. We are aware of several others, but by and large, it's a pretty low percentage, and that most businesses are, as Elizabeth says, they're excited and they want to get back to business. So that's encouraging. Okay, who else would like to say something?
Hi, I'm Stan Patey. I have 2 organizations that I'll represent today. My own company is Slingshot Information Systems, and we do IT support. So for us, we've been working remotely forever. So not much change with that, although about 400 of our clients' employees got moved to off-site locations, and that was a bit of a challenge. We made it through, and things are going pretty smoothly for those people. And I think a lot of those folks who are working from home are never coming back to the office, and it's saving time on transportation, and it's just I think it's been kind of eye-opening for a lot of companies. And our IT business was slammed for March and April, and it's calmed down a little bit in May, and now it seems to be kind of normalizing. People are doing some small projects, and all good for that. I also am on the board of the Sandy Bay Yacht Club, and it's been a challenge opening that up this season, but we are now open. We have boats being launched. We're going to start racing on this weekend. Our snack bar is getting its health inspection today, and hopefully that will be open for takeout. And our sailing program, our junior sailing program, is opening up. We're going to run it. We're pushed it off a week on the schedule, but already our beginner classes are full. Of course, they're smaller because we can't handle as many kids with the protocols, but things are booming. Looking good over here in Rockport. So thank you.
Dan, thanks very much for sharing. That's great perspective, and I'm glad to hear that your business is doing well. It's terrific. Susan, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to remind everybody, I think we've talked about this before, that the Action Shelter is still housed at the Y, and they are, they like to call it, they're in lockdown. They're not allowed to leave the building. There's a community group that has organized Saturday lunches, and for the next month, Cape Ann Museum is actually sponsoring those lunches, so they're paying for them. The restaurants that have participated, and the restaurants generally are giving discounts. They have a certain amount of money to spend, and then the restaurants are sort of helping out. We're feeding 30 people every Saturday, and this week it's passports. Next week it's machaca. Cape Ann Museum is sponsoring for the next month, and I'm not sure what's going to happen when they're going back to the regular shelter and their regular routine, to at least through the end of this month. If any restaurants want to get involved and help us provide lunch on a Saturday, please let me know. And if any businesses would be interested in sponsoring a meal, you can let me know of that as well.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I didn't realize that the North Shore Health Project was even involved in that. But you're like front and center in that whole initiative, aren't you?
Well, no, but
No.
yes. I mean, it's a group called We're All in This Together Gloucester. It's a Facebook group. They're amazing. They've made 1 billion masks, and they are amazing, energetic people who are making sure that the vulnerable in the community are safe. So a couple of months ago, I was in a conversation with Kristen Mechelle, and I volunteered to organize the lunches. So as the executive director of the health project, I guess we are front and center, but it's really just a matter of me organizing the lunch and picking it up and delivering it. We do share some clients, so it's really nice to see those guys once a week on Saturday, because our doors are closed right now, so we don't have a lot of interaction with clients. So it's been great. It's been great.
And I don't know that it's that widely known. So, I want to thank you for doing that. That's really amazing. It's another amazing example of how Cape Ann has come together during this challenging time.
It really is amazing. And I'll just say that normally the Action Shelter makes their meals. I mean, they do get some help from the Open Door. They work incredibly hard, the shelter staff. So I really want to give them a shout out. Sefatia, you're probably still on the line, and I'm not sure Karen is, but honestly, the staff of the shelter in these extraordinary times, they have been in lockdown for 3 months in the Y gym, and the staff can come and go. They get tested every other week. The residents can't leave the property. Once they do leave the property, they can't come back because it's a COVID-free zone. So it's really been an amazing 3 months for them, and hopefully soon they'll be somewhat back to normal.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Thanks for doing it. And for any of you who may not know, Susan will be our president of the Chamber Board next year. Excited, very excited.
I'm looking for a better year than poor Tony ended up with. Tony's our virtual president because he can't be live anywhere.
Tony is doing an amazing job.
Sure is.
Troubling times, just incredible. Such a pleasure to work with you, Tony. Okay, who else? Delia, what's going on at Mistlewood this week?
I'll be brief. I've got two other team members on that can jump in right after me. So just a quick reminder that we are doing a supported Zoom meeting service. So if you know of any businesses that might benefit from having a little bit of expertise when it comes to how to run a Zoom meeting, as well as the technical side of it, I'm happy to share some tips and tricks that I know as far as best practices. And then we have got a great AV team that can support you with security and making sure that all your technology is working. So essentially all you have to worry about is your content, and we will help take care of anything else. And then I also have Katie and Darren are on the call today. So if they want to jump in right after me and talk a little bit about the other things going on, we are doing everything we can given the phases.
Awesome. That's what we all. Thank you.
So I'm just going to follow up with her. We are also doing, if you know anybody who had to postpone their wedding this year, we are doing an initiative called Vows with a View, where they come onto the property for 2 hours, are able to exchange their vows in front of an intimate group of people, take some photos, and then go celebrate elsewhere afterwards. So if you know anybody, please reach out to us, and we'd love to work with them and make that day as special as we possibly can.
Super. Thank you for
Nice
that.
job, guys. Darren Stewart, I am in charge of our annual Mistlewood Concord Elegance. This year, I'll just make a quick update. We obviously can't have the show. It's a classic car show. We typically have cars come from 15 or 16 states. This year, we'll do an online virtual show. We'll have all the photos of the cars released the week of July 19th through the 26th, and we'll announce award winners and the best of show, and just have a fun little event to get the cars out there. But the best part for Cape Ann and the North Shore, we typically do a driving tour on Saturday of the weekend of events. This year, we've extended it to 3 driving tours. We're going to do a Mistlewood, what we're calling a rally series. So we'll be driving around 60 to 70 miles throughout Cape Ann and the North Shore with around 50 to 60 cars, all antique cars. We're including 90s and older cars this year. And we're going to do those on Saturday, July 18th, Saturday, August 22nd, and Saturday, September 19th. And we typically will hit Ipswich, Essex, Gloucester. We've done Rockport in the past, Newburyport. We'll hit all the towns, Manchester, Beverly, Hamilton. It's a lot of fun. We'll get those maps up on our website so that all the local towns can see where those tour routes will be going, when the cars will be going through your towns. I think it'll be a fun event, and once again, we're doing all this just to raise a little bit of scholarship money for our students who probably will need it now more than they ever will. So that's our plan. You can see more on our website. It's all updated in our Facebook and Instagram pages. So thank you.
Thank you, Darren. And when you have information on it, or if you have it already, just send it to us. We'll put it out there on our newsletter and on our website. I'm happy to help promote that. It's terrific.
Perfect. We'll get you those. I'll get you the first map for July, and then we'll go from there. We'll get all the stuff so that all the towns know what's happening. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you. I will also say, speaking of scholarships, the Chamber has a large education priority in working closely with our schools, and we do a number of scholarships as well. And we do an education fundraiser. It's a golf tournament at Bass Rocks, which was supposed to be in May, and we moved it to the end of July, July 27th. If you would like to participate in that, we have some openings right now, and we're about to go out and start promoting that. So I think we're about half full, and love to have you join us and support an incredible cause in supporting our schools. Okay. Who else? I would ask Scott here.
Do it, Ken. Don't ask me.
I know you never have much to say, but I'd love to hear from you.
All right, here goes. Here goes. You
asked
me to
the Health and Wellness Committee as well. If you could give us a little update as to how they're doing.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Ken. So I'm Scott Muir. I'm Director of Operations at Aberdeen Home Care. And yes, I'm chair of the Cape Ann Chamber of Commerce Health and Wellness Committee. Good friend and colleague Heidi Herdman is on here this morning too. Heidi's been so active and very helpful with the committee. And before I say another word, I just have to say Susan Coviello, just so inspired by everything you're doing with the YMCA, all the help you're giving them. Helene Feely, who is also a very active member of the Health and Wellness Committee, I can just say reinforces everything you've just said about all the work that's been done there at the YMCA. And it's just fantastic that you've been that helpful to the community at large up there. So it's great. So Aberdeen Home Care has been continuing on with our business, caring for people in their homes. And it's been a challenge. We've had a lot of challenges. So far, we have remained COVID-free. Both our clients and our caregivers, we're very pleased about that. And I'm so pleased and excited by so much of what I've heard this morning about how things are reopening. Tony, what great news that Blue Shutters is opening up. That's wonderful, as well as so many other businesses represented here this morning. And, Mistlewood, you've been so well represented on these calls week on week. Congratulations to all of you for the great work you're doing. And also Greg, talking about opening up Manchester. I think of different restaurants that are right there on the street. One in particular, Antique Table, where we had a Cape Ann Chamber, event. It seems like 100 years ago now, but they've got a little deck out back. I'm trying to imagine how they can encourage business on that, on the street, on the roadside right there, if there's any way to have seating there. And all the businesses, to hear the Neck is open again is magnificent news up in Rockport. And I think of Passports in downtown Gloucester, so many restaurants trying to continue to do business. How great that Beauport Hotel is opening up. And I've heard their deck is open and doing a great business too. So I just want to congratulate everybody for the great work you've done, the perseverance that you've shown, not giving up. It's been such a struggle. And, we have to remain vigilant. I just encourage everyone to do that. From a healthcare perspective, people are going on vacation. We can't blow it. A lot of states are continuing to rise on their rates of infection. Massachusetts has done a great job. Let's just keep it that way. So please don't forget yourselves. Maintain a vigilant attitude about trying to defeat this virus, and we'll be able to be a very successful reopening. And maybe we will be playing golf at Bass Rocks before too long. Who knows? So that's all I have to share this morning, Ken. Thank you. One last thing. If anyone has laundry they need done, I've learned that Ken is actually in his home. And I think I heard the dryer buzzer go off. You don't want to get Holly upset with you, so you might want to.
That was our secret, Scott. That was
okay.
I have to edit that out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right.
Thank you, Scott. So well said. And it's such a pleasure in working with you. And you're doing a terrific job in the Health and Wellness Committee and everything that Aberdeen does. It really is a pleasure. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else like to contribute? Tell us what's happening.
Ken, I see we have a couple of innkeepers joined us and trying to get a handle, in addition to what we've heard from Tony on when inns are opening up or if they already have or what their plans are.
Yeah.
I saw Loran and Sawson.
Yeah. Either you guys want to tell us what's happening with your businesses?
Good morning, everyone. It's Sawson from Sally Webster Inn in Rockport. Thank you very much for holding this. It's been very helpful to get the input from the community, but also to just join in to common problems that we're all having. Thank you. The innkeepers of Rockport are opening up. We have 2 inns that unfortunately are closing this week, this season. The Tuck Inn is closing and the Pleasant Street Inn. And we sad to see them go, but we're glad that they're been part of our community and their great contributions have always been appreciated. Some of our inns are reducing rooms just to accommodate the spatial requirements by the governor. So as for me, I have 6 rooms. I'm reducing to 4 just so I can have enough people in the dining room and not have them on top of each other in case of a rainy day. They can always sit outside, but in a rainy day, it gets kind of crowded in the dining room. There are some innkeepers that are not providing breakfast. They're choosing not to. And we're, pointing them out to our downtown for great breakfasts we have in Rockport so they can get their breakfast from there. Some are changing to continental, some are changing to boxed lunch breakfast. So we're still trying to figure that one out. But I think our guests have been very accommodating. The guests that have called me to rebook that have been coming, the message I'm getting is we'd rather have a small place that we know and come to than a large place where we don't know and something new. So they're choosing the smaller venues to come to, which is really nice. Some I've canceled that have been coming here for years and they're afraid, and that's understandable. That's all, and thank you very much. I just wanted to share with you.
Awesome, thank you so much for that update.
But they are coming for the fall. I have more bookings for the fall than for the summer, so
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that's really good. That's what we're hoping to see. So thank you for that update, and we look forward to your place opening and doing as well as it can this summer. So appreciate that.
All of us, for all of us. Thank you for all of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to commend the 4 communities for the very peaceful way that the demonstrations and protests have gone over this last week.
Yeah.
Really, it's just been great. Essex had quite a showing last night. Manchester has done it. Rockport, I believe, and certainly Gloucester. So I just want to commend the community and the businesses and the police departments for allowing everything to go so smoothly and peacefully. It's been great. It's been a good showing.
Yeah, thanks, Susan. That's well said. Great point. Coming up on 11 o'clock, we have somebody else who'd like to go.
Hi, Ken, and everyone. It's Lauren.
Hi, Lauren. How are you?
I'm good. Crazy, but I'm good.
Cape Ann Motor Inn, what's happening?
Cape Ann Motor Inn, we are opened. We do have a few visitors, and going through all the new protocols, and I'm still short-staffed right now, but hoping people will come to apply. But no, it seems to be working out well. I mean, all the guests that have been coming in, very respectful of keeping us safe and themselves safe. And my staff right now is wearing masks, and we're sanitizing and doing all the state guidelines and protocols. So it seems to be going well. Scary, but well.
Yeah. How are the bookings looking later on in the summer?
Actually, July and August are still pretty strong for us. We have had cancellations, but they're filling right back up again.
Good to hear. That's good to hear.
So that's been a good sign. September, a lot of people are waiting for 2021. They're moving out a year.
Yeah.
But, for the most part, things are pretty steady, which I'm happy about.
That's terrific. Thank you for sharing, Lauren. I should say, we should have mentioned this up front, but a number of businesses, especially our seasonal businesses in hospitality, are looking for summer help, as Lauren is. And part of the reopening task force, there's a youth director, City of Gloucester, Jeff Scola, in working with Wellspring and Action and some other groups to tie in with the local high schools to try to connect our kids who are looking for summer employment to our businesses who are looking for help. And so just yesterday, we provided that group a list of 200 businesses, including probably most of yours. And our Want to Know will be reaching out to you to understand what are your openings. And if there was a high school student that was available, you know, would you want to hire that person? It's a win-win. And so you can also post your openings on your account, on our website for your member account. And Olivia can help you with that. Right now, we have very few businesses that have posted. I know some have. I'm pretty sure you did, Scott, and a few others. But use that website to get your job openings out there. And let's try to help you with these employment needs. It is 11 o'clock. Anybody else want to say any parting words? Or I will. Thank you. Thank you for joining us again in phase 2. And we are probably going to invite our state reps to join us in the not too distant future and to hear from Representatives Ferrante and Hill and Senator Tarr what's going on from the Beacon Hill perspective. So we'll let you know when that happens. We may need to change the time a little bit, but it'd be good, I think, to hear from the State House. So stay tuned for that in the next couple of weeks. And with that, have a great day, have a great weekend, and we look forward to seeing you soon. You take care. Bye-bye.